Are you ready to witness an epic battle between light and darkness? Join us as we follow Ade, a fearless warrior chosen by the god Ogun, on an perilous quest filled with trails, ancient spirits, and a final showdown that will decide the fate of his people. Stay with us till the end. You won't want to miss the twist that will leave you in awe. Long ago, before the land was tamed and villages grew strong under the guidance of their elders, the Yoruba people were protected by Ogun, the god of iron, war and path clearing. Ogun was revered not merely as a bringer of conflict, but as a guardian of balance. He wielded iron not only as a weapon, but also as a tool to create prosperity, carving paths through dense forests and leading his people to fertile lands where they could thrive. The bond between Ogun and Yoruba people was sacred. His shrine, hidden deep within the sacred hills, was a place where only the most devout could seek his guidance. However, a time of darkness was foretold in the chants of the village seers. It was said that a force of chaos, a spirit of disorder and destruction, would one day rise and shatter the harmony between mortal and spiritual worlds. When the first sign of his prophecy began to manifest, the people knew they needed Ogun's intervention to survive. Whispers spread that shadowy figures had been seen at the edge of the forests, and warriors who ventured too far into the wilderness never returned. The balance of the world was tipping, and only a hero blessed by Ogun could restore it. This is the story of Ade, a warrior who would rise to answer the call of his ancestors and face unimaginable threats to protect his people. The journey has only just begun. Stay with us, because what lies ahead will test our hero in ways you can't imagine. The village of Ilevo lay nestled between vast forests and towering hills, its people thriving under the leadership of their chief Aremo. Life was peaceful, marked by seasonal festivals, agricultural prosperity, and rituals dedicated to Ogun. However, peace began to unravel when warriors patrolling the village outskirts disappeared without a trace. Rumors of malevolent spirits spread quickly, and fear took hold of the villagers. One moonless night, a chilling wind swept through the village, carrying an eerie silence. At dawn, the elders convened under the great Iroko tree, a sacred place where ancestral guidance was often sought. Baba Sufi, a respected elder, addressed the gathering with a heavy heart. "I've seen vision of a great darkness," he began, his voice trembling. "The balance between our world and the spirit's realm has been broken. We must act before it consumes us all." Aremo stepped forward, his face solemn but determined. "We need Ogun's guidance. Someone must journey to the sacred hills and seek his blessing. Only with his strength can we hope to defeat this darkness." The villagers exchanged worried glances. The path to Ogun's shrine was fraught with danger, guarded by ancient spirits who taste the resolve of all who dared approach. From the crowd, a young warrior named Ade stepped forward, known for his bravery and loyalty. Ade had proven himself in battle against raiders in the past. "I will go," he declared. The crowd murmured in awe and admiration, though some whispered doubts about whether even Ade could survive such a perilous journey. Ade's mother, Olufa, approached him with the tears in her eyes. She placed a protective charm around his neck, woven from sacred beads blessed by the village priestess. "Remember your ancestors," she whispered. "Their strength follow within you. Trust in Ogun and return to us safely." With a final blessing from the elders, Ade set out at dawn. The villagers watched in silence as he disappeared in the forest, the weight of their hopes resting on his shoulders. Ade's journey took him deep into the heart of the forest, where the trees grew so tall and dense that sunlight barely pierced the canopy. The air was thick with the scent of earth and the distant calls of unseen creatures. Legend spoke of spirits and guardians who watched over the ancient paths, testing those who dared to seek Ogun. As he walked, Ade reflected on the stories his father had told him of Ogun's might. Ogun was not a god to be approached lightly. His blessings were earned through trails of courage, honor and sacrifice. Ade knew he would face such tests, but he carried the hopes of his people and was determined not to fail. The path became increasingly difficult, with thorny vines and treacherous terrain impeding his progress. At a river crossing, Ade paused to rest. He knelt by the water's edge and splashed his face, feeling a brief moment of relief. Suddenly a figure appeared on the opposite bank. It was a woman. Her skin shimmered like bronze and her hair adorned with beads that glowed softly in the fading light. "You seek Ogun," she said, her voice both gentle and commanding. "But many have sought him and been found unworthy. Are you prepared to face the truth of your heart?" Ade nodded. "I'm prepared to sacrifice everything for my people." The woman's gaze softened, and she nodded in approval. "Then follow the path of the glowing stones, but remember, the greatest battles are fought within." As suddenly as she had appeared, she vanished, leaving behind a trail of stones that glimmered faintly in the twilight. Ade rose to his feet and continued on his journey, the path ahead now illuminated by the mysterious stones. The glowing stones guided Ade to a vast clearing where the ancient trees loomed like silent sentinels. The atmosphere grew tense, as if the forest held its breath in anticipation. Without warning, the ground trembled beneath his feet, and a monstrous lion emerged from the shadows. Its fur shimmered like molten iron, its eyes burned with an otherworldly fire. Ade gripped his spear tightly, his heart pounding. The lion let out a deafening roar, shaking the earth and causing birds to scatter in fear. This was no ordinary beast. It was a guardian of the Iron Path, a test of strength and courage. The lion charged, its massive paws tearing through the underbrush. Ade sidestepped the attack, narrowly avoiding the creature's claws. He remembered his father's teaching. Patience wins battle, strike not in fear, but in wisdom. As the lion circled him, Ade watched its movement closely. When the beast lunged again, he dodged and thrust his spear into its side. The lion let out a final ear-splitting roar before collapsing into a pile of ash that scattered in the wind. A voice echoed through the clearing. "You have passed the first trail. Courage and patience guide your steps. Continue forward, and may Ogun's strength be with you." Ade took a deep breath and pressed onward, knowing that more challenges awaited him. Ade's journey led him to a sacred grove, where ancient statues stood in a circular formation. Each statue depicted a legendary warrior from the past, their faces etched with expressions of wisdom and resolve. As Ade stepped into the grove, the air shimmered, and the statue began to move. "We are the guardians of Ogun's legacy," one of them announced. He was Olan Rivaju, a warrior whose deeds were celebrated in village law. To proceed, you must prove that you understand the burden of leadership and the sacrifices it demands. The guardians encircled Ade and began to question him. They asked about the moments in his life when he had defended those who could not defend themselves. Ade recounted the time he led a group of villagers to safety during a raid, risking his own life to protect them. Satisfied with his answers, the guardians placed their hands on his shoulders. imbuing him with their strength. "You carry the weight of generations," Ulanrevaju said. "Go forth and honor our legacy." Ade felt a surge of energy and determination as he continued his journey, ready for face whatever lay ahead. At last Ade reached the summit of the sacred hills. There, hidden within a cave of shimmering stone, he found Ogu's forge. The god himself appeared. Tall and imposing, his skin gleaming like polished metal. In his hands he held a great sword.
"You have come far,"
Ogun said, his voice deep and resonant.
"but the final test awaits. You must face your own fears."
The cave darkened and shadows of past failure and regret surrounded Ade. He saw visions of those who had failed to protect and heard their cries. Doubt clawed at his heart.
"You are not defined by your past.
Ogun's voice boomed.
Rise and forge your destiny."
Ade roared, banishing the shadows with his willpower. Ogun smiled and handed him a sword.
"With this you shall protect your people."
Ade descended the hills with renewed strength, the divine sword resting at his side. His heart was steadfast, but his mind remained vigilant. He knew that the true battle awaited him in Aleva. Along the way, he came across a small village under siege. Shadowy creatures with elongated limbs and eyes like burning fire were attacking the villagers, who scrambled for cover behind makeshift barricades. Ade wasted no time. He drew Ogun's sword and charged into a fray. His movements were swift and calculated. The first creature lunged at him, but Ade parried with ease and struck it down with a single blow. The blade's divine power tore through the darkness surrounding the creatures, causing them to disintegrate into ash. "Do not afraid," Ade shouted to the villagers. "Stand together and fight for your homes." Inspired by his courage, the villagers armed themselves with farming tools and joined the battle. With Ade leading the charge, the tide quickly turned. One by one, the creatures fell. When the last of them was defeated, the villagers gathered around Ade, offering their gratitude and blessing. "We thought all hope was lost," said an elderly man, his voice shaking. "You are truly sent by the gods." Ade shook his head humbly. "I am only a servant of Ogun. Protect each other and honor your ancestors. The strength of the people lies in unity." After a night of rest, Ade continued his journey, bolstered by the knowledge that he was not alone in this fight. The spirit of resistance was spreading, ignited by the courage of those who choose to stand against the darkness. When Ade reached Aleva, the village was in chaos. Dark clouds loomed overhead, and shadowy creatures roamed the outskirts, attacking anyone who dared to resist. The warriors of Aleva, led by Chief Aremo, fought valiantly, but their strength was waning. Fires blazed in distance, casting an ominous glow over the scene. Ade's arrival was like a beacon of hope. He raised Ogun's sword high, and its radiant light pierced the darkness. The creatures recoiled, momentarily stunned by the divine power. Ade charged into a battle, his every strike empowered by Ogun's blessing. The villagers rallied around him. "To the shrine," Ade shouted. "We must protect our sacred ground." The warriors regrouped and pushed the enemy back, forming defensive line around the village's sacred sites. As the battle raged on, a towering figure emerged from the shadows. Its form was shrouded in darkness, but its presence was suffocating. This was the source of the chaos, a malevolent spirit driven by envy and hatred. Ade stepped forward to face the entity. By Ogun's will, "You shall not harm my people," he declared. The spirits laughed, a sound that echoed like thunder.
You think a mortal can defy me? I'm the darkness that feeds on fear.
Their clash shook the earth. The spirits unleashed wave of dark energy, but Ade's sword absorbed the attacks, its glow intensifying. The ancestor's voice echoed in Ade's mind, guiding him his movements. He dodged and countered with precision, each strike weakening the spirit's hold on the land. With a final surge of power, Ade drove the sword into the spirit's core. A blinding light erupted, banishing the darkness once and for all. The remaining creatures disintegrated, and the oppressive cloud dissipated. The village fell silent as the people stared in awe. Chief Aremo approached Ade, his expression filled with gratitude. "You have saved us, Ade. The ancestors will sign off your deeds for generations." Ade lowered the sword and took a deep breath. "This victory belongs to all of us. We must honor Ogun and remain vigilant. Peace is a gift that we must protect." The villagers erupted in cheers, their fear replaced by joy and hope. Peace returned to Oliva, and the people celebrate Ade as a savior. He humbly credited Ogun and the ancestors for his victory. The forge was enshrined in the village, a symbol of protection and strength. In time, Ade became a wise elder, sharing the lessons of his journey with future generations. His story became a legend, a reminder that courage, sacrifice, and faith in one's ancestor could overcome any darkness.